I did check all the coils, and they all checked good. So I went ahead and ordered the audio tubes there on the upper right, the 2A6 and the 2A5. And I got them in, and I plugged them into the radio, and it plays. And it plays very well, but there is still a problem. At this point, I've got on a plate of the 58, and there's supposed to be 250 volts on there. And this meter is set up to it. The radio does play. I'm going to bring up the voltage up to about 100 volts. And let's see here. Right about there. It'll take a little while. Now you notice that the voltage is pretty high, 455 volts. The tubes aren't warmed up yet, so they haven't started to conduct, which they're doing now.
People living in the Bull City are asking Mayor Steve Schewel and council members for help following reports of several ICE arrests this week. Yvonne Almonte is a community activist for undocumented immigrants living in Durham.
Turn down the volume here. Okay, and that's about 100 volts, like I said, in. And when I first did this, I turned up the variac to 120, and this thing was almost 300 volts. So even though it's playing, and it plays rather well, I need to knock down the voltage coming into it. These were designed for 110 volts, and in 1933 you would probably have been lucky to have 100 volts. So I'm going to knock it down so it's probably no higher than that. That's not too bad, but I would like it closer to 250, but that may not be practical. We'll just have to add these wire wound resistors. Those are 8 ohm, 20 watts, and here's a variety of 10 watts here. And I'm going to put that in series with the primary of this. And I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to put it in there or not. We'll just have to see what we can do. But anyway, I've got to knock down the voltage because it's just 300 volts. You could burn out the coils with it that high. And it does play rather well.
Just show a little patience, because all lanes should start moving and flowing here very, very shortly for you as you head northbound again on the Durham Freeway, headed into downtown Durham. Not such...
So, I am happy about that. But to protect this radio even more, I got to knock it down to at least 100 volt input, probably. Something like that. I think I've got it over 100 volts right now. Yeah, looks like it. So, that's what we're up to right now. And I'll do some experimenting and see what happens. Alright, I've got 75 ohms, 10 watts, in series with the AC plug. And that's with, experimenting with different values. Went above this, I went to 100, and that was a little too high. 50 was a little bit too low, and I'm shortening this up quite a bit because it took a little while. So now I'm going to turn the variac up to 120. Okay, that's 120 right there. The bulb looks good, and you can see that the voltage is pretty high. The tube is not conducting yet. Now it's going to start to conduct.
One as you cross into Orange County, but after everybody kind of struggles through that left lane merge down to just 2 lanes, everything clears up pretty quickly, and then you're full speed once again on over to Highway 86 there coming up out of
Okay, and as you can see, I've got it set back to DC here, and it's supposed to be 250, and we're pretty close. Now 10 watts is not enough watts here, but I've got the right resistance because this thing is getting really hot. So I'm going to look for at least a 20 watt, probably a 30 watt 75 ohm resistor, and that should handle it. And then this radio will be safe to operate. We will no longer have 50 volts too high of voltage on all the plates. That's pretty dangerous to all the coils in these old radios. I'm pretty happy with this. 75 ohms, and we'll see what kind of watts we can get. Of course, I can always make some combinations here out of a few 10 ohm resistors to get 75 watts and higher watt resistor, but it would be nicer just to have the right resistor in there. Thanks for watching.